1, 2, 3, funk it.
My darling, I love you, 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 I love you.
3, 2, 1. Mamacita, come my way. Come over here and stay conmigo in mi casa.
What song is that?
I don't know. Oh, I'm sweating.
I bet a good DJ could make something good out of that.
I know. And we talked about that. We talked about, we got a GTWTB album coming soon. You know what I'm saying? GTW coming soon. We have 7 songs. We know 2 of those songs, and the other 5.
Wait.
We have
7 songs coming out, and you only know 2 of the songs.
Yeah, we know track number 2.
It's a
we know
mystery.
track number 4. It's a mystery, exactly.
Even to the creators.
Yeah, like it's a mystery box. You never know what you're gonna get.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another rendition, another episode, another episode.
Jesus Christ.
Another iteration. There you go.
Oh,
That's the
there you
word.
go.
SAT
Yep,
words.
yep.
Kangsan always prides himself on SAT words.
Facts.
And I want to be like Kangsan, okay?
Ooh.
So welcome again to another episode of Good Times with the Boys, ladies and gentlemen. This is such a fantastic episode. Fantastic day. It's Friday, Friday, November 9th.
Correct.
Okay? Friday, November 9th. Just don't get it twisted. And look, man. First off, what I want to say is a lot of things happen in life. Okay? A lot of things happen in life. Very good, very bad. And I want to say, first of all, we should not obviously live in fear.
Correct.
Okay? But I would feel out of place, and I'm pretty sure I speak for the rest of the boys here and the boys who aren't here, when we say that our prayers and our sincerest condolences to the families who were affected by the mass shooting at Borderline Country Bar in Thousand Oaks.
Yeah.
It's it's pretty heavy. It's pretty close to home, and I think back in
Max, stop breathing
You're
into the
breathing
mic.
so low.
Germund's trying to be so serious.
I know.
I can't even hear.
I'm over trying to be serious.
I'm being serious too. I'm like,
You know how I know how serious he's being? He's breathing louder. That's how I know he's being serious.
oh,
Dude, you know what? Really quick, actually, let me finish this thought first.
Yeah.
Finish this thought first, and then we'll get into some more comical, anecdotal stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, man, it's crazy because I know maybe a couple months ago, there was a shooting, I think in like Palm Springs or something like that, or in the Inland Empire, an area close to us.
Thousand Oaks.
No. A couple months ago.
Yeah.
A couple months ago.
Yeah.
And when that happened, I was like, oh shit, that's kind of close to home, right? And then the Thousand Oaks one, the Las Vegas one happened, then that happened, and now the Thousand Oaks one, it's kind of like, oh shit, well, this is very close to home. And on top of that, now we have, a shit ton of fires. It's a very unfortunate time, I guess, but I'm glad that, the people who made it out were able to reunite with one another. I hope the people the family members that lost family members and friends, I hope you find, some peace with what's happened. Time heals everything. I don't mean to sound like an asshole when I say that, but at least you have a lot of thoughts and prayers and people who are loving you and sending love from random places and all that to help you guys through. A little weird note. Anything that you guys want to chime in on that?
I'm not gonna lie. With this political climate right now, the past I would say 3 years or something, I feel a little desensitized to what's going on, even if it happened about 30 miles away from me. Where I work at, we have several locations. One of them is in Thousand Oaks.
Wow.
In that spot area. So, and it's just when it came across the news, I think it came out when I came across at it. I was just getting out of work, and it was just on a website that I just came by where it just happened, and I was like, oh man, another shooting. And at that time they just said 12 injured. They didn't even know that the death count, which ended up being 12, or I think. But it's just another thing. It's like I looked at it and I was like, oh man, it's crazy. It's nearby, blah blah blah. But I didn't feel as strong as, say, for instance, when September 11 happened or something, or other shootings that were pretty crazy. But it's just and it's just being honest and about it. It's like, man, this is just the world we live in, where this is the norm, and it's for me, it's pretty crazy that I had that initial reaction. It was only until after a little bit of more contemplation and thought, trying to take it seriously, that you just have to think like, man, that's pretty close. Out of all the shootings, that's probably the closest it's happened. You go through life thinking that you could just do whatever you want on a day-to-day basis. Like, say it's your day off, you're trying to think, oh, maybe I should go to the movies, or hey, maybe I should go to there's this country band playing at the bar. That sounds fun. Let's go to that. Oh, go to Vegas. Gonna go there with some friends. Gonna go watch a concert. Blah blah blah. Like, these shootings are happening at places where we would normally think of, like, our day off. We're just going. We're not thinking of like a shooting could happen. People are just walking in and unloading. Yeah, it's crazy to just think about that.
Yeah, it's hard for me to look at these types of events and like wonder why nothing can be done about it when it comes to any sort of change in the government. I think, without getting too political, but I mean, that usually is an indicator of somebody getting political.
The preface is okay. It's all right.
Listen, for context, I'm not somebody who dislikes guns. I can appreciate what it can provide to somebody. I can understand that it's something that I genuinely believe everybody should understand at least how it works or how to operate one, because you just never know. With that being said, how can you witness these things, feel like in the information age this is the norm, and still have reservations about talking about changing the laws? It's just like what is the word, befuddle? It just confuses the shit out of me. Like, I can understand why, if you like firearms or if you feel like you should have the right to do it, that's all well and good, but at least get in a room with somebody who is concerned about what's going on and let's talk. There's nothing like that. There's no civil discourse. Like, people can disagree, but we should all be able to be mature enough to sit down and be like, these are our differences. This is how I see it. This is how I see it. Let's come to a compromise. And even that's not being done. And that's probably the most frustrating thing, because, we can only do so much in our everyday lives. It's a lot of things that, every person should strive to be: happy, loving, caring, looking out for each other, listening, being genuine. In times you can come together and rally and push for a cause. But I guess it just is up in the air or in my mind because we all just participated in a recent election. So, we can vote, but it's just, I don't know. It just confuses me. Why can't
weird.
They sit down and like talk about it?
It's weird because if you take the spectrum of firearms, okay, one side being like Australia or whoever else, there's outlawed them completely. Or I think in Australia you can have like handguns or something like that. But like, if you take one area that's completely outlawed, and I wouldn't say us in California because California has some of the strictest gun laws, but say Texas, right, where they're very very open about people having firearms and all that good stuff. But it's I'm for the gun control. I'm for the gun control. I'm for the gun laws. I'm not for gun abolishment. I will say that. However, we're not even taking the steps to, because it's going to come a time where how many times does something like this has to happen before we have to take a step to even just break the ice on even talking about gun control. Even making a move in gun control, right? We're not doing anything. Well, at least from what again, my right-handed Republicans might say otherwise as far as the strict gun laws. But I'm not talking about gun control on the actual guns themselves. There's a good amount of control on that. Perhaps the actual vetting process. That's a lot of what I'm talking about. The vetting of psychological well-being.
I think that's the biggest question, because if you go down to, like, say for instance, we come to agreement. Okay, there's the Second Amendment where everyone has the right to bear arms, and when we come to gun control, people always shout we need more gun control. But when you get down to the nitty gritty, what you're talking about, it becomes more complicated. It's like we passed laws where guns have been less accessible, supposedly, but yet these instances have been happening. The question is, like, what would you determine how best to determine who can have a gun from who not to have a gun? If you just take away guns all out, then I'm pretty sure that's going to be kind of chaos if no one besides like the standing army or military force owns guns or heavy arms or something. Then I'm pretty sure there's going to be that's a transition phase. But when it comes to, okay, if we're going to have more gun control, is how are you going to get more gun control? Get down to the brass tacks and tell me exactly the rules and laws that you're going to pass. I'm willing to learn the 500-page document that tells me what you're going to put into law on what the steps that need to be taken down. But nobody wants to listen to that right now. It's really hard to get anything movable when emotions are into play. For instance, I just watched a video where there was a lady who lost her son that weekend, and she straight up said, "My son was at the Las Vegas concert. He came home alive. Now he came home here and was at that bar and died." So like this is a mother who had a son in both incidents. One at the Vegas was a Vegas incident, then came back home, then had him losing him back here in the recent most incident at the bar. She just straight up said,
crazy ass shit.
Yeah, and she just straight up said, "We need no talk. I don't care about your thoughts and prayers, blah blah blah. We just need more gun control." And it's hard to really rationalize and break down to law what best steps to take when emotions are pretty high. Like even me, who, I think about, the Second Amendment. I'm more towards the we should have our rights owning guns, but I'm willing to listen to the other side. But it's really hard to have a rational argument when you have these emotions into play. And that affected me too. I was like, oh, shoot.
Well, the example you're using is a mom that was interviewed like hours after the incident happened. So I don't think that's necessarily the norm. I'm for somebody who I definitely want more gun control. I don't come from a country. I was born in Compton. My parents come from a country where the only non-citizens are allowed to have or yield firearms. So if you're in the military or if you're a policeman or a woman, then you get to have a gun. Everybody else, no civilian, no citizen gets the right to bear arms in South Korea. South Korea is full of other problems for sure. I'm not like trying to say we're perfect or they're perfect at all, but there's a country out there, and there's no Korean person like rah, we need guns, everybody needs guns. Like there isn't that type of situation going on. I agree with Max that if that was the case, there would definitely be a transition period. A lot of people are hesitant to change a lot, and I think it's part of human nature. So there would be some hesitation, but like I'm just providing an example of what can happen, because Max is right. Like who's to say like one rule or a set of rules or a 500, it doesn't matter how many pages you write, like who's to say that that's going to cure it? You won't know until you actually put it into practice. So
I think to rebut that, as far as South Korea goes, one thing that they have going for them, they're way more homogenous than we are. And I feel like in America, because of the whole melting pot, mixing salad, whatever mentality, I think we're just too deep in it already.
Well, you might be right. I present that as a case of like, of just of going against the idea that that gun abolishment is more extreme than you guys. It sounds like you guys would rather let everybody have the ability to have guns than nobody. And I'm trying to say like, okay, that may be true, but I'm presenting an argument where guns are allowed for nobody, and they're on their 2 feet. So I'm just trying to provide examples of potential success. Now that culture, it could be a mix of, it's a mix of a lot of things, but it's tough because I feel like people who are very pro-gun feel that it's going to start with one thing and it's going to yield another, and eventually they won't be able to have guns anymore. And there's also a lot of people that I hear are, well, why should my rights be taken away because other people fuck it up? And it just goes back to my number one rule is just do the right human thing. If you have to make a little bit more sacrifice on something, guess what? When you don't know it, somebody else is making that little bit more sacrifice for you. Life is a zero-sum game. People help you out when you need it, and you help people when they need it.
There was another thing about another way to look at this topic of gun control is if you look at the origin of the Second Amendment.
Yes,
it was implemented in the fact that it was supposed to be a safeguard for government tyranny, or
correct.
Say a militia or a government entity was trying to take over a whole authority over the people.
Yes.
It was supposed to be where citizens can rise against an oppressive government on their own if they had to, if that's possible. And if you look at it, there's a couple ways to think of that. It's like, one, now it's hard to look at that here in today's modern U.S. for like a government to take over like that and guns to be the safeguard. But it's just it comes to the thought that having guns give more power, rather it's like hard power, like straight up violence, whatever, or it's just weapons itself is just some sort of power, right?
Yeah.
It's just giving as much power to the citizens rather than to the government. Trying to have that weight balance. You know what I mean? I'm not
okay. Like I get that. Okay, I understand if people feel that I deserve the right to have this, and that's fine. But even just in this conversation, I've just presented just the idea that there is this possibility of more strict gun laws. And the rebuttals have been, from what I hear, is just let's get practical about it. And that's the dialogue that I feel like we're missing is people who are very anti-gun just want to jump to the conclusion where there's no guns. And people who are very pro-gun do not want to give up anything. They want even less rules. So they're so far apart, they can't have a discussion. I can enjoy and respect a firearm. At the same time, if I can't use it anymore, and that helps prevent a major case of death, I'll give everything I have for it. Like they can both be mutually exclusive. Like you can appreciate a firearm and you can also not want people to die. Like those two things can exist, but I think people are equal or considering one as a symbolism for the other.
Yeah. I want to put that into an example of what you're talking about. It's like both sides are seeing whatever they got in their example is the best solution. For instance, if you're looking at people who are pro-gun, they're saying that, you know, if there's not as much regulation in guns, then if that guy walked in, there would be people in that bar to have a gun to shoot that guy, right? Like, so there would be defense for that. While the other side, who's on gun control, would be like, that guy just would never had a gun if there was more stricter gun controls. So it's like each side has whenever they give their argument, it's like, oh yeah, that is an argument, but still there's the fact that there's two arguments as plausible. It just makes it difficult. You know what I mean?
A couple of things. If we were to follow the laws that were in South Korea, only just really quick. Not a tat against Kangsan, but the dude was an ex-Marine kind of thing, and he would have gotten a firearm anyway. But that's not my main point. My main point was the Second Amendment thing, right? So the Second Amendment was enacted, it feels like eons ago, a very, very long time ago, okay? Right. And I don't think they foresaw the technological advances that the government of the United States would have against... Because if this were equal, and we would have that right to bear arms against a militia that would form against us, then we would have nukes, civilians. We would have nukes. We would have Gatling, all this crazy shit, right?
Gatling guns,
because at the time,
flamethrowers, Gundams.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
dude, Transformer Gundam, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, government, you trying to screw me over? I'll get my Gundam on you.
I think I could. German's Gundam would be these two spheres next to each other, and he jumps in and he goes, "I'm ready," and then a middle sphere comes out of the two spheres and just rises like 8 feet tall. He's like a dick Gundam.
Then you got President Trump's like, oh, you think you tight? It's morphin' time. Pulls up his Zord.
No, but like, dude, like back in the day when they did that thing, bro, they had muskets, they had these powdered handguns and cannons. You know what I'm saying? Those were the three. There were a handful of items that they could use to propel a ballistic from something to another thing, right? Yeah. And I don't think they accounted for, people have really cool shit. You know, we know people, I know people who have really cool shit. But when it comes down to it, although obviously I back the Second Amendment, but when it comes down to it, if a militia forms against the civilians, we have no fucking chance. Okay? We have no, it's just, I can't even fathom what else, other things, aside from the things that we actually see right now, like these crazy rail guns that they have and these atomic bombs that can travel halfway across to Mars and all that stuff, that me having X amount of guns that I have is going to fight against that. You know what I mean? So I think they should not abolish, maybe make some amendments to it, be like, yo, because I want a Gatling gun maybe. You know, maybe I want a nuke.
I don't think they also accounted for the sheer, like, spike in population.
Yeah.
You know, at the time they're like, oh, it's just the East Coast and like some weirdos that went west. All right, we'll figure this out.
Hey, 13 states is cool, right? I think we're good. I think we're good right here, dog.
I mean, now it's like, god damn, like you can't even go anywhere without seeing people. How about this? Let's throw this exercise out there.
I love exercising. Psych.
Total, in German's terms, is totally hypodermical.
Yeah.
But let's say you had a chance to change some of the rules on guns.
Love it.
Off the cuff, I didn't discuss it with the guys. Just improv it. What are some things that you would implement just based on your gut instinct? Like for me, I would want universal law, meaning no state can decide what the fuck they want to do. It's like, look, with something that can kill somebody, everyone has to have the same rules. That's one thing I would do.
Okay. Oh, okay. Universal law.
Look, I get it. Okay.
States.
By the way, I get it. There's a lot of holes in here. Okay, and a lot of fallacies. Okay, this is my dream scenario. Okay.
Yeah, no. Hypodermical
in a magical fantasy world where Donald Trump is not president.
Yeah. Maybe me.
Hey, facts. Superintendent though. That's beside the point. So everybody would have to agree on a rule, I think now this is obviously very ideological, but there can only be one firearm per square mile radius.
Whoa.
Right? The neighborhood over there gets to all designate somebody in their community. You're the person that can have a gun here.
Whoa, okay.
That person has to then register with the city. The city will then lease them a firearm, and they'll maintain it, their fingerprint, everything. So you know exactly who owns what gun and what bullets belong because it's monitored, right? We're cutting down the number of guns. And then every year, that same area gets to either keep that person or vote for a new person or assign somebody else. But there's a chance for different people to have a gun year round. So it's not one person that just has guns for 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Those are the only two things.
Okay, so one thing. So if we did, like we're working collaboratively. Okay, this is what we're doing. We are a team where we have action items, and our action item is to, you know what? Let's stop killing people. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do what we have to do for gun laws. Cabinet of Kangsan just gave his plea. Okay. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first. So I actually don't hate that idea. I don't like it. I don't hate it. Okay.
But if you get voted, you can go akimbo.
Okay. No, because I want it. You know, like I want it. You know, for me mainly, man. For me is the strenuousness, I guess, or the opposite of leniency in terms of testing and you know, obviously I work in like the mental health, behavioral health type of field. So I've seen some things, obviously not as much as the next mental health person or just the same amount, but a lot of it, if we are talking about mental health, because you know, it only takes literally a pull of a trigger, a throw of a rock, a thrust of a knife. Like there's a fine line between going from sane to insane, you know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So I think a better, because I tell you what, okay, yeah, I have firearms, but I tell you what, I can tell you how easy it is to obtain a firearm. How easy it is to obtain a firearm that was used this week in Thousand Oaks, you know? Not the extended mags though. You have to go to a different state because California laws. But I just think we need to develop a more strenuous vetting process. Psychological and specifically, I guess in this case would be like for military, because they pass them off apparently, right? And I still don't know if his PTSD is confirmed yet, so I don't want to peg that on him. It might be, right? But I didn't see any reports of it. They just said, "Oh, he might have this," so that's what they're going to say. Maybe it's for their narrative. I don't know.
You know, with that said, it's more regulated and more strict, more rules in driving a car. Or getting the license to drive a car than getting a license to shoot a gun.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what?
That's crazy.
Fuck all you guys that say, "Oh, you can kill someone with a car too." Look, ass.
That's not the point.
That's not the fucking point.
Yeah.
All right.
And
even
yeah,
if
of course,
if it was the point,
there's more deaths with cars than probably with guns.
Stop it, Max. You're not helping. You're not helping my argument right now. but yeah, we get it. But that would be that's the German Suez cabinet contribution to this helping area. What about Max's cabinet? What does Max's cabinet say about this?
Okay,
No more guns.
yeah, well, I think there's 2 points that I want to just mention. I don't have the research or the time to go into depth of it, but one is what I just mentioned earlier, that there are more regulations and more oversight in getting a license to drive a car than in getting a license to own a gun and shoot a gun. So, like when it comes down to the nitty gritty, I feel like, you know, more regulations and should be implemented back to owning guns. Like, you know, you have to have checks on mental stability from someone from, like, you know, like say like the person who gives a DMV, the instructor or the tester. There should be a gun tester, you know, to check whoever owns a gun, like, you know, every couple years, or, you know, every 5 years or whatever, you know, just to see Also, the how to use a gun. Also, there should be just the way that they treat getting a license to drive a car. They should implement it to owning a gun.
Because I tell you what, if they did what to be, I failed my driving test 3 times. Okay?
Oh, geez.
If that was the case, I would never have a gun. Okay.
And the other part that I want to.
I passed the first time and only got 1 wrong.
My first guy was racist. All right.
Yeah.
My first guy was racist. My second guy wanted. I passed it. I passed. I'm driving. Okay. Obviously.
He's
So
one of the
if
best
my
drivers
laws
I
were
know.
implemented, then German wouldn't have a gun right now.
Exactly.
Which, better for worse.
Another thing was, I heard a recent story about how back in the JFK era, back before he implemented this certain rule that I'm going to mention, people with mental problems, it was better, it was easier, more accessible for like family members to send someone into a mental institution or a hospital, whatever. Back then, for instance, now you need like it's so strict that the person who you feel like you need help, like even if you want them to get help and you know that they have to get help,
They gotta do
there's
themselves.
certain laws like, oh, they have to enter in voluntary, unless like they're like critical stage and that's usually critical stage is they measure it as they already tried to do something, and then after that, of course, like that's already, if they try to do something, half the time they're going to succeed and cause some type of damage, right?
Right.
And those are the only times that you can, as a family member who you're looking out for someone, or even close friends, whatever, you could, if you see a problem, you could get them help, or rather, unless the person wants to get help themselves. But that's a thing that happened during the JFK era, where John F. Kennedy had a sister who had mental problems, right? And didn't want to have her sister go to a mental institution. So he implemented a law where, you need that voluntary thing. I forgot what
So JFK did that.
Yeah. I forgot what she suffered from, but he ultimately he wanted to have her sister not into a mental institution.
Okay.
To think. So I think now this is not going to work because I haven't. This is a story I've heard, and I think that's what the history is. I'll do more research and get back to you guys on that. But I would like more to have a second glance in how we try to help out or work on our laws in the mental institutions. Make it easier for family members if they find out if they're worried about a family member having issues or anything. It should be easier for them to get help, because of course, rather than always put the power into the actual person. Like, of course, a lot of people who are suffering from mental instability or something, usually they deny it.
They don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know what? I like that, because now I'm just thinking about it. Yeah, because you don't want to have the embarrassment on the family who wants to take the person in, nor does the person want to say, no, dude, I don't have any problems. But there's been so many studies done over years of psychiatry and psychology that you mean to tell me that there isn't a way, and I know there's programs for this, that you can help, because I know we do this for people with the younger kids. It's like parent teaching classes. You teach the parent how to cope with your kid if they're having problems. There are strategies, there are processes that are scientifically proven to be like, okay, hey, you don't like doing that? Why don't you like doing that? I just don't want to. Well, why don't you want to? Do you think you don't want to, or do you feel like you don't want to? I'm not feeling that I want to do it. Okay, well, what do you think you want to do right now? And through those processes, then you can, at least as a parent, not having to take them in, go through a check mark saying, oh, okay, if they said yes and no to X amount of times, maybe it's like, okay, maybe here's something else that I should try on them. But I mean, again, like I said, there's levels to everything, right? And there's levels to that shit. And thankfully, there's more funding going to mental health and behavioral health nowadays.
Yeah, I think there should be more funding on
Yeah,
mental health.
That's definitely part of the biggest picture. Honestly, is just how we interact with each other and kind of live in a society that seems to be growing by the second.
Yeah, things are moving really fast. You know what I mean? Now we have to factor in how we communicate with the digital era and how it affects. Like even now, like I'm pretty sure there's been a lot of studies on social media, everything else with the digital world, how we.
Well, yeah, y'all keep fucking data mining me, bro. Jesus.
Oh yeah. With that said, I wanted to talk about a little story about that.
Data mining?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, so
I'm just kidding.
okay, now I'm gonna put the coworker's name that I wanted to mention. But okay, so
come on.
There was let's just say I knew someone who she recently
it's a girl.
subscribed into like
great job, Max. You're doing a great job, Max.
I know someone who recently subscribed to a.
It's too late, bro.
Okay, she recently it recently subscribed to what? It subscribed to what?
Subscribed to a you ever guys come across those websites where you could do background checks?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Aren't
like,
they?
I am so sketched out of that.
Yeah,
I think most of them are just spam.
Well,
And you gotta give
some
some
of them,
pretty
but
crazy information
there are
for that
some
shit,
legit
dude.
ones where they accumulate data from like the county registrar, the police records, actual public records and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
like secret agent.
Consolidate them to
Agent.
make a profile. For instance, like if on these websites, sometimes if you type in person's name, they could pull up, places that they registered, where they live, if they were arrested or something like that. Those are actual public documents that
Like casting couch and all that.
exactly like casting couch.
Hey, shout out to Casting Couch, guys. Sponsor us.
Sponsor German.
just German.
Yeah, just sponsor me.
And
German
just
at GTWTB.com.
and just hire me.
As the girl.
I do make good sound effects.
Ooh, don't show us.
It's
I don't want to hear.
universal.
Yeah, it's okay.
So you saw this. You saw this.
Yeah, put me back on topic. Yeah, okay.
So you saw this person.
Yes. Okay. So now, talking about those online background, she wanted to do a background check of themselves because something with their credit card score and it's lower than what they expected. She found out from registering on these websites and doing like a 1 month trial, whatever, that there's been charges from states that she's never even gone to, like Florida or whatever.
From the website?
From the website, it shows that they've been into this location or whatever. So she thought that maybe it's just like, there's been people using her identity in different places. You know what I mean? That's why she couldn't apply for something because of credit or background check, whatever.
I thought the website was
gotcha.
Yeah. You signed up with this
Yeah.
backroom casting
So-
couch. Gotcha.
So so I was interested while she's telling me this and showing me all this stuff, and I was like,
It
yeah,
is showing me this.
whatever. Like no one's gonna know who I'm talking about.
Hey, what's her name though?
And then Janelle Sua.
Easy, buddy. Easy, buddy.
You see?
Easy.
You see?
I'm so good.
I'm just kidding, Janelle. My bad. Don't hurt me later.
You see, so good. I'm so good. I'm not even
It's
gonna.
not you,
I'm not
Janelle.
even gonna mention your sister.
Margaret. See, I hurt myself. I stabbed myself before you stabbed me,
Good.
so I don't feel bad.
you.
Holy shit.
Okay. Let me go back to the story real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so-
it's neither one of those. Okay, it's
Yeah,
neither one of
it's
those
none
two
of- yeah,
names.
And I'm an only child, so I don't really.
Yeah, and it's not Kangsan.
Bang San, when he sleeps, he doesn't know there's another side that wakes up.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so this my friend I know. So I was so interested, and she's showing me all the the website itself. Showed me what happens when she typed her name. It did show her being in different locations that she's never been to, and I was like, hey, what's up? Can you type my name in? I want to know what was going on. Like, at least I know. I had a DUI back in the day, like
Shout
almost
out DUIs.
10 years now, but still, like, that should still be on my record. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So she typed in my name. Nothing came up.
Wow.
Nothing came up. Nothing. I was surprised. I was like, what? Nothing came up. And so, like,
Wow.
yeah, there was one person and didn't even have, like, it was like Max Murillo. Or
Max
Morello
Murillo.
or
Max
something.
Murillo
But-
went to Cams also.
Well, besides that person, it wasn't that person, but yeah.
You know what they did? They said, oh, they're searching Max Morello. Let's give him no results to gas him up and say, holy shit, I don't have any results. Wait a second. And then when he gets back home at night, wait a second, do I really don't have any results? Let me go on this myself. Hey, try a free trial for 30 days. Bait and switch, bro. Did you buy it?
Well, if that's true, that means I'm so important for someone to be watching me. I'm gonna make sure I'm looking my best when I'm sleeping.
He like goes to sleep in a suit and tie.
Every time, dude. Every time.
Okay, well, so
Because I would expect that from Kangsan.
yeah, where nothing pops up.
Nothing pops up.
Well, okay, so I was
Except for that brothel
I
one.
was pretty
Just
astonished
kidding.
about what happened. You know what I mean? Like, my name didn't pop up because it had different categories where even it showed like social media names or possible names or whatever. So
It's because we didn't create him an
I was like,
Instagram.
hey, just really quick, just type in my brother's name, and then popped up his information popped up where, you know, close relatives, blah blah blah, all that information. Typed in my sister. I was typing in my sister. Same thing. You know what I mean?
Please
like,
do
even
not
though my sister.
fucking tell me you typed our name into that thing.
Well, even let me just continue. Even
Punch you the fucking, I'm gonna fucking punch you in the fucking throat right now.
and I typed in German Rocky Suwa in it too, and you know his information popped up. Blah, blah, blah.
310-549-5000.
Yeah.
Through whatever. Yeah.
So I was surprised. It's like all these people's information popped up, and now that I'm thinking about it, like this information, it takes one, of course, public records and stuff, which I'm really pretty surprised that it didn't pop up like my criminal record because you know I'm bad boy for life, but
Shout out to Bad Boy
it
Records,
pulls
man.
other information. For instance, you know the people that you're supposed to be related to, your friends or past places that you've lived, stuff like that, where that information can only pop up from social media sites, right? Like stuff that's
good.
like that, right?
So there's no criminal background.
So
or
you
anything like
know, yeah, but still, you could still be searched from those websites where it'll populate the like your relatives, your places that you live, your
I see where you're getting at now.
all that stuff, it's coming from somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And recently, like places like or companies like Facebook and stuff, they've been sued for data mining. What you're
mining.
talking about, sharing information to other companies without your knowledge, or even so, it's in the fine print where you don't realize. And there's a lot of times when we're signing up for a website that we're trying out, say for instance, just like a tool website that's
like
like a
eHarmony.
free, or you know.
Stopped Max in his tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
eHarmony.com.
German uses that a lot. But you
No,
know,
I
something
give
that's
up
like
too
a
many
free
questions.
tool, like a online converter or like a PDF to Word converter where you have to make an account or something like that. Something where you have to check a box, say that you read the privacy and the whatever agreements and stuff. It's like all those times we're doing that stuff, we're leaving us open to creating what we call now, and I think it's going to be a bigger concept later down the road, is having a digital footprint. You know what I mean?
I think
It's like it's
I
so
think the
easy.
digital
you know what I
footprint's
mean?
already there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, well,
everybody
yeah,
has it for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. But you know, my whole like I've had a lot of disadvantages of not using social media as much as I should have. But I was happy when my name didn't come up from that background check. I was like, oh, good, thank you.
Doesn't see all these years of not doing anything on social media. Was that worth it?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
I would say yes.
Okay.
Okay.
But
I would
it's
say
not
no.
like a
I would say no to it.
it's not like a stomp on, oh yes, exclamation point. It's like yeah.
Dot,
Yeah,
dot,
He's
yeah.
gonna
dot.
I'd like to be
Yeah,
Mysterio.
I'm
so
nothing. Yeah.
I like to live a life where someone looks at me and it's like a blank slate. You know what I mean? Rather than they'd be like, I'll check you out later. Oh snap, you sell dildos online or something like. They look at you selling dildos online. That's what you're into? Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't have a social media account, because now I know that if your social media account,
be selling
you'd be selling dildos right now.
His avatar would be Moralo, but the two L's are dildos standing up next to each other.
And his company name is called Moraldo.
Moral dildo.
Moraldo.
Oh, you guys gave me a good business starter right now.
Look, all right. So that's fun. Okay, but obviously, what's more fun, I guess, in Kangsan's case is, and this is why he looks like this, is Kangsan embarked on a pretty dope journey this past weekend. I embarked on my own journey, obviously, to the debaucherous, best, happiest place in the world, and everyone can attest for that,
Las Vegas.
And then, but Kangsan, however, because again, like I said, Kangsan looks like Adonis for a reason. Adonis, Horus, baby, not Grant. All right, but Kangsan had a tough mutter this weekend. You know what I'm saying? So this is my question. Okay.
What's Tough Mudder?
Well, I know what tough mutter is. This is my first question. Are there girls do it? Right.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not just a dude thing. Hot girls do it.
Sure. I mean, you're gonna get muddy, so you have to wear like, whatever you're gonna throw away later. So they just
Sold tough mutter.
The races are generally like $200 to register.
How much is Spartan race?
About this, if you register early enough, it's like 100.
Do you get a medal at the end?
How much is it for a marathon?
Is the what?
A marathon.
Like 110?
Oh.
Yeah, there's no cheaper thing.
I was like $15.
15?
Dude, honestly, I thought marathons were like 20, like 50 bucks.
Yeah,
at most.
yeah. Some of them are.
Some of them, but I think those are probably the half marathons. I've seen like LA Marathon or other marathons be like 110.
Oh, I thought the LA Marathon was like $15.
Anyway,
I could be wrong.
So from obviously Max and I have not gone through Tough Mudder.
Yes.
Not by looking at us.
What is Tough Mudder?
Yeah, not by looking at us.
Tough Mudder is an obstacle course that consists of a 10-mile track with 20 obstacles scattered in between. You can do it yourself, or obviously go with a squad, and then you just try to see how long it takes you and your squad to finish.
That shit is 10 miles.
Yeah, I mean it's good.
Straight up track. I mean, obstacle.
It's
course.
broken out, so it's like you run a half mile, and then there's the
okay.
first obstacle. You run another half mile. There's a second one. You just keep doing that, so you get the breaks. But
That's harder than Spartan race.
But the breaks is not really a break. It's you running half a mile.
yeah, that is such a good point.
yeah.
It's not a break.
yeah,
For Kangsan, it's a break.
I would say that it was definitely more difficult than a Spartan race.
What? Crazy.
Well, there's levels to Spartan races, right?
Yeah, so I mean, for context, I only did the easy one, and that's a 4-mile course. But even the obstacles are so like Spartan race obstacles are a little bit more basic and based a little bit more on strength and stability, whereas the Tough Mudder is a lot of like mental exercise and also like your agility and mobility and things like that.
Okay, I like that.
So yeah, I went with a friend that I've known since high school. He had an extra ticket. And
Shout out to Just a Fan, though.
we went there. It was out in Lake Elsinore, about 80 miles away from GTWTB HQ.
Ooh,
And
that's fucking far, dog.
it took it took
I was like, "Where's HU at?" That's far.
The overall time we got was 2.5 hours as a squad. You get a free Guinness Blonde.
Oh yeah,
at the
that's
end,
cool.
and then you get like some free snacks, and then that's it. And then we went home.
You have to finish as a team.
You don't have
Is
to.
that your time?
Yeah, that was our like no one tells you the time, you just kind of keep track of it. Or at the end of the race they'll tell you what time it is, but that's about it. So
What free snacks did they give you?
like beef jerky, granola bars, Kind bars, things like that.
Ah, those are good ones.
What? How many obstacles were there?
20.
Fuck.
Not all of them are difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can I ask you then? What was
Like all 20?
No. What was the most difficult?
Oh.
Because look, guys. Although it might not look at it, okay. I want to do these one day.
Yeah.
I want to do this with Kangsan one day, and Kangsan's just waiting for me. Okay.
What do you mean? You could do it now. You got hidden strength in you.
I can't fucking do it, Max. Trust me.
There was a guy who
If your life depended on it.
who ran the race in skin tight spandex.
Was he fat?
He was a big guy, yeah.
Did he make it?
I don't know. I didn't see him. And there was another guy who did it, who had every Spartan race he's done tattooed onto his body.
And those are the type of people you get. Okay. Every band of the spectrum. Yeah. Those are the type of people you get.
You had some guys who only had clothes that covered his back, but not his front. So he tried so hard to be in front so no one could see his front.
Actually, there were 3 guys who dressed
Borat
bathrobes.
Oh, okay. 10 obstacles because every half a mile.
20
obstacles. I'm sorry, 20. So
Yeah.
10 miles. Okay. So what was the hardest and what was the easiest for you?
So the hardest one, one of the hardest ones is the one where it was the last one. You have to jump over these hay bales that were covered in mud, pretty much, which by itself sounds fine, but what they did was they have these electric wires that come down towards like inches from the mud floor, and it's just cut off, and they're live, so they shock you. So you got to either like, if you run through it, chances are you're gonna trip and fall. Hit. So you have to kind of sort of subtly walk through in a brisk pace, but the key is not to go so fast that you're getting shocked by every which one. You want to sort of find a way to draft either behind somebody or see where people are going and getting shocked and let them take that away from your lane.
If Max was there, I would grab Max by the shirt and be like, Max, just go. Just go.
Shady.
So
I see how our relationship is as friends.
That was one of the more difficult ones.
I'll be clenching my butt a lot. I'll be constant clenching.
There was one. The other one is... you're basically, it's just this really slippery 45-degree angle ramp, and you can't run up it. So somebody has to be at the base and lean their back against the ramp.
Oh, that's cool.
Somebody has to climb above them, and then climb above them, and then somebody has to go all the way to the top, and then now they're the helper.
Is there a rope or?
No, there's nothing. So that was pretty tough. And then there were a couple of obstacles where the object that you're trying to hold on to changes as you move. So like it goes from like this 2x4, you're like kind of climbing over, and then it becomes 2 door handles, and you're like, how the fuck? And then it becomes a bar, so then you have to change your grip again. So that was a difficult one. I couldn't do that one. I fell like halfway.
Kangsan, what happens if you don't have a team?
You can do it yourself. The team is just to like...
How do you get up that 45-degree slope by yourself?
Well, I mean, like the whole idea is like you're racing, but you're not competing against each other. So...
I'm not even sure if I could walk 10 kilometers. I'd be skip all the obstacles. I'd have to call like the emergency team to get me from skipping all the hours at the 7th kilometer. Like, oh man, I got some corn on my feet right now.
Hey Max, to be honest, I don't think you can walk 10 miles.
Oh man, that was the best.
Oh,
so there's a lot more challenging ones on the Tough Mudder than Spartan race, but it was fun. My knees and my elbows got like scratched up a little bit from it, but there wasn't anything terrible. One of the ladies in our group got a gash above her right eye, and she had to get stitches.
Ooh, that's gonna be a scar forever.
There was one where you have to jump into this ice tub, and you have to dunk your whole body to go under this fence that they built. You have to go up and over, and then there's another fence. So you have to go up and down and out again. So you like dunking your whole body in ice water. and that's where she's I think she dove down and like ran into like a block of ice on the floor or something.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah,
She okay?
you know, she's fine. I mean, the group I went with were doctors and nurses, so I wasn't necessarily concerned about.
They fix each other.
Yeah, like they were like, get the clue, and then they were telling the medics that volunteered what to do because they have experience.
I just want to apologize because I did not. My experience, although I haven't done any one of these, my experience comes with the Spartan race via Kangsan, and when he did it, I was like, I knew he would get past it pretty easily, obviously, and I said, okay, cool. So the Spartan race was my barometer, okay, when it came to actually judging these races. Spartan race, Tough Mudder, and not Iron Man. I know how hard Iron Man is, but
Yeah.
But for the Tough Mudder similar to the Spartan race. Are there levels to the shit? Or
Yeah, this one, but there isn't like, I don't know if there's a junior one, but I think Spartan has more levels. They have a 4, a 8, and a 12 mile. And I think Spartan or a Tough Mudder just has the 10, and then they have a 5 half, and I don't know if they have one that's longer than 10.
10 miles, bro.
Yeah, and
I-
it was
I
like
I get mad driving 10 miles.
it's like it's there's hills. There's this one part between mile 5 and 7 that the sun came out and it was on my back the whole time, and I'm like dying.
I could barely walk after a day at Disneyland.
Hey, Max made it when we went to Runyon. You were there, right?
Yeah, but we went back down because he got tired. Remember?
Oh no, because you had to go boo boo.
Oh yeah.
You had to go boo boo. So you had to rub them in your tum tum.
Oh, snap.
But he was making we made it almost all the way up.
Yeah.
It was
No,
because
we made it all the way up.
We're like 80% there.
I had a lot of energy when I first started, and I was like squatting.
You're getting better.
And then doing poses in squats.
We did that. Hey, do they open up Runyon Canyon during the winter, like or during the
Probably.
fall / winter?
Yeah.
You guys want to do that?
You want to do it again?
I want to do it. Well, now that's not fucking 97 degrees, but it'll be nice because it'll be a nice little sweat, and it's a breeze, and it's cool. Overcast. I love overcast.
Well, with the fires, I don't know.
You guys wanna do
how the
paintball
air
instead?
conditioning's gonna be.
Paintball.
on Runyon Canyon? Oh,
Yes. No. Exactly. Paintball and Runyon
Yo,
Canyon.
we should do an Airbnb experience.
what does that mean, Kangsan?
So, everyone's used Airbnb here before. It's usually for a place to stay.
Mhm.
People now can sign up or have been able to sign up with Airbnb and be the host of an experience. So, like there's
Fast and the Furious house.
well, there's a couple that are nothing like that, but there's a couple like
There's a couple like that. Nothing like that.
my bad.
Yeah, that's okay.
There's a couple that are like the lady used to be like a club promoter, so she has her inside on like 4 bars in Hollywood. So she hosted an experience where people get to meet and you go bar hopping in these areas. There's one that's like a downtown LA speakeasy, and it's like $45 to sign up, and then you go to these places, and one of the places will at least provide a free drink, and then it's a chance to like explore the city. It's a chance to try something new. You can meet new people.
This is from that thing that you did last time, right? Like
Yeah, when I was in New York, we did one, and we went bar hopping in like 4 or 5 bars in Brooklyn, and we got to meet a lot of people, and it was crazy. Like, it was a lot of fun.
I do. If I had created my own Airbnb experience, mine would be The Illusionist. I would be inviting people and telling them, "Oh, you think you're sleeping underneath a bridge, but in reality, you're sleeping in a nice hotel room. Oh, you think what you're really eating is filet mignon, but really what you're looking in front of you is spam."
I'm so lost right now.
What?
What the fuck is that?
It's The Illusionist Airbnb.
I thought you were going to talk about the movie somehow. Or
I thought you were gonna go into like sex trafficking. Or
Oh
something.
no.
It's like you think
That's
you're
how you
having
think of me. Always.
If I had the
In a
Airbnb,
sexual
1 star, dude.
Oh, boy.
No, but you know, just make spam like filet mignon.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up here.
All right. Well, where are we at on time?
We're at our.
Holy shit! Okay,
We did it.
Hey, one more time. I just want to say, Daddy went to Vegas again, so I'll shout out to Vegas always. I'm always gonna shout out to Vegas. The boys are gonna be in Vegas, maybe with boy number 4, please.
Hopefully.
Please. Okay.
If not, I know
Max.
a replacement.
Oh shit!
Just kidding. Mi corazón.
Corazón. The boys will be in Vegas in a couple weeks. I mean, obviously we're gonna do some recordings there, so just be on the lookout for that. Kangsan, what else we got, my boy?
Check us out on social media at _GTWTB, Twitter and Instagram, YouTube, Good Times with the Boys, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We in here.
Yeah, we in here. Wow. Any closing remarks in 3 words?
Love more, please.
That was pretty close to what I was gonna say, to be honest.
Oh, okay, nice.
Mental rise, downfall.
Wait, what? No. Mental rise, please.
Oh, it has to be connected.
What, wait. What? Okay, even if it wasn't connected, where did the downfall come from?
Just make them think about different concepts.
What the fuck?
Okay, we're gonna.
We're gonna end it right now. Love everybody, please.
There you go.
Love everybody, please. Kangsan, get us the fuck out of here, Kangsan.
And thanks for listening, everybody, to another episode of Good Times with the Boys.
Pew pew.
And until next time, bye bye.
I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.